So today I'm going to talk about something that really, really marked me and that show up later on in one of my life episodes. It's 2008 and I just had my son, my second child, and suddenly the company I was working for an amazing, amazing company as a purchasing manager. And the company announced that the offices in UK were going to be made redundant. Don't forget, like I mentioned, 2008, there was a major, major economical decline, and many companies had to restructure and rethink their strategy going forward. So, like I mentioned, this company was absolutely one of the best companies that I worked for. I was working there at that time for 8 years. The environment and the relationships that I had with my colleagues were absolutely incredible. We had fun days. We had the days would just go really easy, really smoothly. There was there was no that feeling of, oh my God, I'm glad it's the end of the day. No, we would meet up after the end of the day, after the working day. We would meet up or in a pub and we'd just have a chat and have a drink and just enjoy life. And I, I can't emphasize how much I love that company, working for that company. And to be honest with you, if that relocation or that redundancies of the offices hadn't happened, I wouldn't be here right now talking to you because I will still be there, right? So we couldn't help it. The redundancy was going to happen anyway. So I suddenly had to rethink what I was going to do. Like I mentioned, I just had a little child. you know. Um, my son Alexander had born March of that year. And after, they actually asked me to go earlier um, during my maternity leave to kind of um, talk about the redundancy packages and all that stuff. And by the way, the redundancy packages were absolutely incredible. This was a Danish company and it was located in UK at the time. So I had the opportunity to relocate to Denmark at that time. I looked at, properties in Denmark. I looked at the life and the lifestyle in Denmark. I looked at everything, health, the education for my children. How would my husband commute to Denmark? We looked into the ins and outs and the pros and the cons of everything and decided then at that time not to do it. So, with that redundancy package, I had this brilliant idea, which was going, it was the idea was already always within me since very young, of starting a business. So off I went to start a business, but um, it was very, very hard. So the life lessons that I took from this was, yeah, but first, like, um, starting the business like from zero, from nothing. I've been in corporate all my life. I was around 39 at the time. Age is relative, but nevertheless, I didn't have a clue. To be honest with you, I didn't have a clue how to start a business. So I thought that, um, so I started talking to people and talked to my husband, started thinking what I was going to do, right? And all I knew was, purchasing equipment for big ships, for big tanks. And this is all I knew because this is the industry that I was in. So I start thinking, what can I bring from my corporate life, leveraging my um, skills and abilities from corporate. But I was looking in the wrong direction. I was not really doing it properly, to be honest with you. So it was a struggle. It was a total struggle. And besides that struggle of finding what to do, right? One of the ideas was to sell marine equipment, um, do like drop shipments. So I would purchase the equipment that the client wanted, and I would drop um, into whatever they wanted. So maybe talking with shipyards and um, and other types of people that I used to work with. Needless to say that my heart was not on it, so I didn't really want to do that. It was more trying to find an idea like straight away and to make a profit, to start the business. So there was a lot of desperation. And another lesson that I've learned was um, to trust specific people. So let me explain this a little bit better. What happened was that when I started this business, I got connected with a community in the States, and they started throwing things at me like, you're going to need this, you're going to need A, you're going to need B, you're going to need C. And with all this need, there was costs involved. Um, and me being naive at the time, I thought, okay, well, I'm going to need this, so I'm going to have to pay X. I'm going to need that. I'm going to have to pay Y. And what happened was like the costs start accumulating, and I wasn't making a profit, right? Because I wasn't really sure what I was going to do. Um, and the charges and the fees, they all start accumulating, and there was a lot of costs that I couldn't pay. And I was using my savings, I was using the money that I had from the redundancy and more in my credit cards that, and I wasn't seeing anything and nothing was working basically. So after, I would say about, this lasted for about 6 months. I start thinking, okay, I'm gonna investigate this company that are telling me that I need X, Y, and Z and see what's going on. And I found out that they were actually inside of a scam. So with all that loss, that money loss, all that stuff that I've invested, all that risk that I took, um, I couldn't see a way out. So the only door that I saw at the time was to go back to my 9 to 5. it's not the end of the day. I could go back to my 9 to 5 anytime, right? And recuperate the the debt that I had accumulated. But also, like in that time when I thought, okay, I'm going back to my 9 to 5 because I need a job, I need to get some money in so I can pay this debt and try and make the most of it. Um, there was two thoughts that came in my mind, and one of them was that I failed. I failed miserably. That was, that was the thought all the time that I had was that, you know, I was useless. That what would other people think of me? I didn't hear, I didn't listen to what people were telling me that some people, one of them particularly was very close to me, and he said to me, Sophia, be careful. I've checked this company and they're not good. They're not good at all. So just be careful. But at the end of the day, it's up to me to make a decision in which direction I want to go. So one of the feelings that I had, like I mentioned, was failure. And I just want to say to you that you're listening right now, if it's happened to you, or if you're thinking of living, your corporate life to pursue something that you really, really want to, um, know that failure is just a bruise. It's not a tattoo. It doesn't stay with you permanently, right? It will bruise you for a little while, but know that you can overcome that. And to overcome that, make sure that you're connected with people that you trust. Make sure that you're connected with people that are authentic and honest and and know that failure comes with risk. If you don't risk, you don't fail, right? And we only learn when we fail. We only learn when we fail. And in order to evolve and change and transition from A to B, you need to fail and fail 1,000 times. But know this, know that you will rise stronger, right? Because fast forward to 2015, when I started my now business, that idea of failure, right? My eyes were open for different things. My eyes were, um, and my mind was open for different things. Obviously, not as much as now, right now, but I was evolving, I was growing, I was changing with whatever I overcame in 2015 when I fired my boss and started my business. So this is just, you know, know that whatever life throws at you is always a lesson. Is always a lesson so that it makes you stronger. It helps you grow and it helps you evolve into a new identity. I just want you to leave with this and reflect on it. And maybe if you resonate with this story, this true story, maybe if you resonate with this true story, let me know. And I would love, 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 love to, know your story, your failing story. To be honest with you, like nowadays, not a lot of people are open about failures. they're okay with talking about what they have and possession A and possession B, and I've got this and I've got that. But actual all the failures that took them to have those possessions and honestly talking about them and embracing them, this is super powerful. And it's something that maybe people should be talking more, not want people to talk more about what's raw to them. So I'll leave you with that to ponder. We all fail. We're not perfect. I'm not perfect. Far from it. We all fail. But it's the ability to find the little breakthroughs and the little lessons that those failures given us. That's the most important thing.